Let's Get Down to Business is presented by Bravo, the marketing arm of Ash Brokerage Corporation, the practice enhancement company. All this week, it's news you can use. And on today's show, our underwriting update for December 2013. And with me today, nationally recognized impaired risk expert, Joe Breda. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we always like to bring you on because you deal in some of the most anomalous cases I've ever seen. Things that I think are going to be declined, postponed, heavily rated, flat extra. And I'm always amazed at the way you package cases and actually present, because I think the way I've understood you, presentation of a case is everything. Is that true?
Presentation it may not be everything, but it's a heck of a lot of it. And really being able to craft the presentation to get the underwriters more comfortable, arm them with enough information that if they are going to deviate from the manual, that we put them in a spot where they're a little more comfortable doing it.
Well, I want to talk about this first case because to me, this is a huge case. So many carriers declined this first case. Tell me, how did we get to present? How did we package this and bundle this to present a good case and talk about the table rating we got?
Yeah, so the first case we're going to talk about is a 59-year-old guy, which is it's a fairly young age. And this guy, what he's dealing with is he's got a history of an elevated PSA. And so, we're talking about the prostate. And what the PSA does is if your PSA is rising or if it's elevated, it's an indicator that you could potentially have prostate cancer, but it's not diagnostic. But in this individual, his PSA has historically been on the rise. He's also has a very low free PSA, which the free PSA is basically another value that indicates the likelihood that cancer is present. Usually on a free PSA, under 10 is where people start to get concerned and say that there probably is cancer present. In this particular case, this guy has a free PSA of 9. Prostate cancer on someone in their 50s, that's not a good thing from an underwriting perspective. That's very young. So in a case like this, most of the carriers were coming back and saying that they would either decline or postpone until we knew for certain whether this guy had cancer or not. What we did in positioning this case was to say he's very on top of it. He is with his doctor, his urologist, on at minimum 3 to 6 month period, and they're checking it. If this individual does in fact have cancer, they're going to be catching it. They're going to catch it early, and they're hopefully, the treatment is going to be favorable because they catch it early. And we were fortunate enough to get U.S. Life to agree to that type of thinking, to say, okay, we'll make a rating with some conservative, being a little bit conservative, that if this guy has cancer, we're going to assume it's early, we're going to assume it'll be successfully treated, but we're still putting an additional rating on it to cover our costs. So in this particular case, when most carriers were declining or postponing, we were able to get him a Table 2 offer as is right now.
That is a huge benefit to the client, and that to me is bundling a contract, bundling a policy, and really presenting it in a way that we can get a carrier to bite on it. Let's shift gears to this 58-year-old male non-smoker. This guy's about 6'3", 328, big guy. And we talk about type 2 diabetics, and I know there's certain carriers that just don't want to see this case, but talk about how we were able to position and package it and the outcome for this specific case here.
Yeah, and this guy's a good example of where underwriting meets product, because we know that not all underwriting issues are solved with the medical side of things. Sometimes we're able to solve underwriting hurdles on the product end of things as well. And this happened to be a permanent UL sale. But yeah, his build, just the build alone, most carriers were in the mid to moderate substandard range. And oftentimes when you see someone with a build of 6'3", 330 pounds, we oftentimes see that they're also diabetic, which he is as well. In this particular case, though, we were able to understand the need being universal life coverage and to take advantage of some of the table shave or crediting programs that are out there. Lincoln National's table shave program is for universal life permanent products only, and that happened to be what he needed. While his build was by the manual rateable, it's been stable for quite some time. And so if there's any kind of favorable, points you can make on someone with a build like that, you definitely don't want to see them going in the wrong direction and gaining weight each year. Mm-hmm. He's been very, very stable. His diabetes is also under very good control. So what we were able to do is to put that case into Lincoln's table reduction program, get them comfortable that he was more like a table 3, and then automatically reduce him to standard for permanent coverage.
Before we end the second segment, I want to ask you, though, on this issue, you brought up this issue of product. Everybody thinks underwriting is a medical issue. You're now combining the medical bundling and how you present it with this product. Without that product, this would have been difficult.
Absolutely. I think people, even the consumers, I think people get so lost in the label of preferred or standard or table 2 or whatever it is. Fact of the matter is there are some table 2s in the world that are cheaper than some other carrier's standard or standard plus rates. Our job is to strip that away and understand what the client needs from an affordability standpoint. And sometimes you're able to solve it, like I said, with product, not just focusing on risk class. So we really have to make sure that we're understanding the full picture and what the client's trying to accomplish.
When we come back from the break, we're going to continue our underwriting update for December 2013, and we're going to feature real cases with real challenges and the unconventional approaches that help us place these cases. And you can discuss your own difficult case with any one of our 8 in-house underwriters. Just go to downthebusiness.ashbrokerage.com and request a one-on-one consultation. And remember to sign up for your own 30-day free trial offer for Backroom Technician right out at brtnow.com/trialsignup.aspx. We'll be right back after the break. Back in the day, life insurance professionals were called field underwriters. Then, carriers trained their field force in the basics of life insurance underwriting. Today, the insurance industry doesn't educate the agent population as they once did. But now you can have the Informed Risk Guide at your fingertips so you can illustrate a reasonable rate class for your life insurance prospects. Just request your copy of the Informed Risk Guide at downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. It's free from Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back. I'm Steve Savant with Joe Breda, and remember, you can watch all our episodes of Let's Get Down to Business, including my weekly consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game, right out at ashbrokerage.com. Just click on the show logo right on the homepage. And just a heads up, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, as well as your broker-dealer compliance officer. Well, let's get down to business. We're continuing our underwriting update for December 2013 and featuring real cases with real challenges and our unconventional approaches that help us place these cases. Well, Joe, welcome back to the second segment. Let's talk about this case here. I love when we talk about lifestyle credits because to me, it's all over the board. Carriers have their different definitions, but you have a 56-year-old female non-smoker, 5'9", 199 pounds. Talk a little bit about how lifestyle credits really help this case.
Yeah, and I think this case is a great example of the crediting programs. And you're right, Steve. It seems like every carrier's definition and criteria varies. And so our job is to know who does what as far as the credits and who fits where. And again, like we've talked about in the past, not all carriers are a fit for all clients because of product involved. In this particular case, we're looking at a carrier, John Hancock, who is not going to be number one on your term spreadsheet, but in this particular case, she's looking for permanent coverage. So that steered us towards her on the cash accumulation product that they have. At her build, she's a standard by the book, maybe a standard plus. So we looked at that and we said, okay, Hancock's in the game on the product end of things. It gets us in the range that she's willing to pay if we can elevate her to a preferred outcome. Well, as we dug into the case and we started pulling out things, anytime someone is overweight, your concern is things like, are they pre-diabetic? How's their blood pressure? How's it affecting their heart, if at all? And so we look at EKGs, and that's where we start to pull out all of the credits involved. In her particular case, family history was real good. Mom lived to like 88, 89 years old. Dad's history was good. She has annual EKGs, which are favorable. That tells us that her heart's in good condition. Blood pressure's under real good control. No mention of sleep apnea, no mention of diabetic. Her A1Cs are well controlled. So this is a person that we truly have a single impairment, being that she is a little overweight. And in this particular case, we were able to apply multiple credits through Hancock's Healthy Lifestyle Credit Program and actually get her better than the expectation of preferred. We were able to get her super preferred for a $5 million permanent policy.
Yeah, and I don't mind acting surprised here, Joe, because I could have seen John Hancock go up maybe a table or two above standard plus, but super preferred on this. I thought this is, again, the art of packaging, the art of bundling this case and presentation using these numbers. That to me, with controlled management, that's a huge issue. I want to go back to another one here that I know that you have here. You have a 56-year-old male non-smoker, 6'3", 198. You really love this case. Talk to me why this case really put us out in front of everybody else that was bidding on this.
Yeah, I do like this case, and I like it for a few different reasons. One, there's some difficult impairments going on here. You've got an individual that had a pacemaker inserted several years back. You've got chronic renal insufficiency. Actually, if you go through the records, they classify him as a stage 2 chronic kidney disease. So there's a lot of different things going on with him. And I think what I like most about this case is the fact that, you oftentimes, you get underwriters to put everything into one pot. And they start tallying up table ratings as like an aggregate. And our job in this particular case is to say if there's no comorbidity issues, if one of these impairments doesn't impact or amplify another impairment, we want to make sure that they're not penalizing them for multiple impairments if they are independent of each other. And we always speak to the value of stability. And so in this guy's case, he did have some issues with his heart rhythm. After the pacemaker was inserted, there were still even a few issues, but he's been real solid from a rhythm standpoint for several years now, and his compliance is great. He's in with his cardiologist often, and they've had no issues. On the kidney disease end, same thing. While yes, he's got stage 2 kidney disease, his bun and creatinine levels, which are kidney functions, are really, really stable. There are no blips. He's on a straight line for multiple years now. And believe it or not, in this case also, we've had alcohol issues where this guy, the medical records considered him to be a chronic beer drinker, to where they were saying that he was averaging 5 to 6 cans a day. That may sound like alcohol abuse. But what we were able to do is determine that that's been about his average for over 20 years now. And it may sound crazy to think that you can create stability out of alcohol use, but we actually were. And so what my ultimate outcome on this case was, you have most carriers were saying high substandard, even some declining, because they were seeing so many things going on. We were getting answers like too many impairments here, too much going on with this guy, not comfortable making an offer. When we really sat down and addressed each independent impairment, we were able to get American General to come all the way down to a standard non-smoker outcome on this guy, which is absolutely lights out. We're very proud of that one.
And then remember, this is after the best shot was table 4 to 6, both most carriers.
That's right.
Well, that's our show for today. Remember, you can read all my online insurance news commentary, advisor blogs, and articles on Producer's Web, as well as my answers to consumer questions on the Insurance Library. You can also view any of our past episodes on our on-demand section located at downthebusiness.ashbrokerage.com. So follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or just email me, steve.savant@ashbrokerage.com. And remember, you could be wiser